In this video, we will be making this tab switcher. You could see there are 3 tabs in here, and if I click on here, it changes this heading, text and button. You can click on here, and this one also scales up the images around here. You could also add anything else in here, doesn't have to be just image. And you can see it switches based on a click. And for this button fill effect, it would be another video which would show how to create this button fill. It's actually a part of my template. It's going to be a paid template. You could see we get this hero, we get this opening effect which I've already shown. Like hero, I've also created a video on how to make it. This opening effect, this is what we'll be making today. This is what would be the next video. You could see this is on hover and this is on scroll. Could see, and then this would be like new video, this one also for the new video, and this one the button that you could just add anywhere. And this one would be all part of my Elementor template number 3. So I haven't really uploaded yet, but this one is like number 2, so this one would be number 3, and you could get it for $5 from my website, or you could get all 3 of them, like this first one, second one and third one for $10. So instead of just getting one for $5, you could get all 3 for $10. This header would not be available because this one requires Elementor Pro, but rest of it can run without Elementor Pro. I will also be linking this page, tab and content switcher. I haven't changed the images and videos around here, but because I haven't uploaded yet. But this one would have the code that we'll be using. I'll explain how to customize the code and how to change it and what values you can change so that you could at least customize a little. But let's just get started on making it. So first thing first, let's just create a full width container and let's give it like 100 VH. This container would have 2 more containers. One would be the left side and one would be the right side. Let's make our container be left to right so that this takes left, right. Let's give our left one some color. Or let's just give our container like a color for now. So I'm just going to make it black so that it's easy to view for you guys. In the right one, for now, let's add images, but I'll also show how to change it to be containers, okay, instead of just images. I'll make it grow so it takes like full size. And in here, I'll make it be like 100% and then set this to cover. So this way it will take like full size. And in the right one, you could see there's some spacing because by default there's padding. So let's just remove it. For some reason, the content is set to box. So let's just do full width. It should be full width, like inner ones. Only this one can have, boxed. That way it's optimized. And you could see even this container has some padding in here. Again, this one all comes down to like your preference. You don't have to follow like the same steps for this part. In the left one, I need 3 headings. First one would be called heading 1. Let's make it white. Let's go to this all doesn't really matter what I'm doing, like this padding and all, it just comes down to your preference. So for now, I'm just trying to make it look decent for the video. I think this much is enough. Let's copy our headings 3 more times. I'm just going to call it heading 2 and heading 3. Now inside our left container, I'll create one more container. This container needs to be at the bottom, and it's hard to make it place at the bottom, right? Because we have 3 headings, and if I go in here and select, let's say something like space between, then it would make everything be equal space. So how about we add all 3 of them in its own container? So let's just drag it, drop inside of this. And now it only needs to worry about 2 of these elements. So if I go in left and make it be like this, it will now be perfect. And I can even go in here and let's say give some padding from right and left and whatever you want. Now in this container, this one would be our contents. In this container, let's add another container. This one would be content. Let's add our heading. Let's add paragraph. Let's make it white in color. I'll make this smaller. Again, this one all comes down to design preference. and let's add our button. Okay, now if you guys want to have this type of button, where is it, let's go down. This type of button, you will need to watch the final video which would explain how to make this one, and then simply change this to be that button container. But for now, let's just keep it this way, and I think this much is enough. And again, then you could go and change the layouts and all for the tablet, mobile. It doesn't matter how, it just matters how you want it to look. So let's start doing one thing at a time. Okay, so let's go to our page, like this blog page, which would be in description. This one is called DM tab title. This one would be given to our titles. Okay, so let's give all of them DM tab title. Then we have I didn't make this bold, but it's called DM tab content. Let's copy this, and in our this container, okay, not this one big one, just this one, I'll give it DM tab content. You could see. Then we have DM right tab img. Again, even if you use a container, just give it img, doesn't matter. DM right tab img. I'll show how to change this to a container too. DM tab heading would be given to this one. Then we will copy DM tab paragraph, give it to our paragraph, and then DM tab ptn button will be given to the button. And that's all we need to give for now. And let's copy this code, go to our, let's say, container. In this container, and at the end we will add an HTML widget. I don't want it to take in space, so I'll go to advanced and then basically hide it from everywhere. So you could just hide it in here if you want to check how it would look in the live page, but if you do this one, it is already hidden, you could see. Let's add the code, and suddenly everything just disappeared. So you could see everything just disappeared, right? And let's do one thing. We have 3 headings, right? So we need to duplicate this content too. Okay, so I can just remove the code for time being. Let's go to content and just duplicate it 2 more times. So 1, 2, and this image 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to quickly add some images. So you could see I just added 3 images. Now I'm just going to go into HTML and add the code. Everything disappeared, so we'll also fix this, but let's just see if it works directly like this or not. And let's try clicking on heading 1, and you could see it did pop up. Heading 2 popped up, heading 3 popped up. I should change the text in here in the contents so that we know if it is working or not. So this one would be 2. This one would be heading 3. So if I click heading 1, it shows heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, images is working. Something weird that it is getting bigger than this one. That is simply because this container, this right one needs to have overflow hidden. So anything outside this container gets hidden. And now if you check, it doesn't go outside the container. Now this looks a bit weird, right? Because if I go to inspect and let's say make it be like very full width, it would be like from edge to edge. Now this one just comes down to your preference, but I actually created a video called flexible 2-column layout with box text and full width. If you go in here, there's one text in here called calculate 40% and all that stuff. I've explained how this works in this page, in this video. This one basically allows you to have one container as a box width inside a full width container. So for example, the left one, if I go to layout, go to pen icon and paste it, this is saying that be 40%. So I don't want that. I want it to be 50%, but it would also be like 1500 pixels box width. So let's say your page is made with 1500 pixels box width. You would keep it this 1500 pixel, and this one is set to like whatever size you want. Now this is set to 50%, right? So the right one needs to be 50%. I'm going to go to the container and say that be from right side. Okay, like this. Again, in that video I've explained it in a bit better way. This one basically allows you to use like one element or one container inside with the box layout in a full width layout section. For example, this is full width, but this one would still act as a box width. You could see it starts from here. no matter what I do. It will always start from here in a box with layout, but this image would be till end, no matter what happens. Okay, this one need to be the images need to be set 100%, else it would be not showing from end to end. Okay, like this. Now what if I want this one to be visible, right? The first one needs to be visible and the first image needs to be visible by default. We don't want it to be on click. So let's go to this page, and here I've called DM tab title DM active. So let's copy only DM active. Do not copy the dot, and give it to the heading one. Make sure to give a space and add it. Oops, it did it not copy. Okay, and you could see it's now white in color. Now what we need to do is, I didn't add around here, but if you go down, it is called active. You see DM tab content. I have not added any space, so dot active. What this means is that if both of these CSS class are present, use this. So if I go in here and give my content, which is the first one, this active, so I'm going to do space active, it will be visible by default. And for the image, I've done DM active. I don't know why I've used like 3 different stuff. Maybe I forgot to update it, but just keep in mind. Okay, so for the right tab image, it's DM active. So for the first one, it would be DM active. So only this one is active, but both of them are DM active. So what we are saying is that this first one is active by default. And you could see that it just works. If I click, it just changes perfectly. We can add any other stuff too. Now how about I just quickly change this from an image to container. Okay, so let's just remove it, but let's do a container. Let's make it grow so it takes full size. Let's just make it, pink in color, why not, and give this the CSS class DM right tab image, and make sure you do not give it DM, make sure you give only the first one DM active. Okay, so I'm just going to copy DM right tab image without the DM active, so that when I duplicate this, I can give the second one only DM right tab image without DM active. So now this one I can just make it be green in color, and the third one I'll just make it be yellow in color. And because I've used a container, you know that I can add any other images content in here. Okay, if you want, you could even give some height so that it does not piece like this small for mobile and all. And guess what, it doesn't look like it's scaling because it's like one singular text, right? Or what do you call, like a container. So how about I try just adding a text in here? Which one is it? Why is it not showing the text? Okay, it's there because it's scaled up by default a bit, so we will need to play around with the design. This is one thing that you need to do when changing container, is go to the code. Let me just paste it in here so that it's bigger to see. Go to the CSS classes, look for DM right tab images. Okay, and instead of display block, you have to change it to display flex, because this new container is using flexbox, you could see. And for image you have to use block, and for this one you have to use flex. So if I copy now, it would be in center perfectly. And now let's do preview and see if it works properly or not. So you can see there's a text, and it basically scales up because it's actually the whole container scaling up, so it looks like the image is scaling up. But you could add anything in here too. Just make sure to change it to flex, and I'll explain how to customize it, okay, from now. So here's a quick code. Okay, so DM tab title, we gave it to our titles, right? So by default I've made the opacity to be 0.5. If you don't want to use opacity, you could use color too. Okay, just type color and type your text, type your hex code or whatever you have, and it would give that color. But you have to make sure that there is no color added in here, like clear. It should not be using any global colors too. Then only it would work if you use the color in here. Or you could just force it to use it, like called important, exclamation important, it will force to use it, but then I'm not sure if it would work on active and all, but again, play around with it. Okay, then this one, which is DM active, it is only given to the active text. So for example, if I select this text, this is the container, right? So you could see this one has been given DM active. Your DM tab title, this is the one that we gave, DM tab title, but DM active is only given to the one that is clicked on. This one has the DM tab title, but it does not have DM active. As soon as I click, it gets added DM active and it is removed from here. So that's how it says that if both of these CSS classes are present, then use this. So you could add anything in here for active. You could scale up, scale down, change opacity and all. This is for the tab content. This one you don't need to change. This is just scale animation. Basically, for the right tab, we make it hidden, and when it gets DM active added, it is given display flex. So basically it's visible, and this animation plays. So it goes from scale 1 to scale 1.1. So if you don't want any scaling, just make this 1, like both of them 1. Or you could even add your own stuff like opacity 0.0. You could add opacity here, opacity 1 here, whatever effect you want it to show when you click on here. Okay, so whatever effect that you want it to show when it's like revealing, you could add in here, like make it grayscale to color and all that stuff. Just use ChatGPT if you want to just change this part. Now this part you would see it's same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. This is for DM tab heading, paragraph and button. Heading, paragraph, button, all three of them are using the same animation, and it is this animation. So from opacity 0 to opacity 1, translate Y. So translate Y basically makes it be at the bottom and then slowly make it go up. So you could say it slowly makes it go up. So from translate 100 to translate 0. So we are just moving it 100 pixels below and slowly move it to 0. So 100 to 0. And it happens in 0.5 seconds. So it takes 0.5 seconds to do this. And you could see the added animation delay. So paragraph animation starts after 0.1 seconds. DM buttons animation starts after 0.2 seconds. So obviously you could add any other animation, and this one would be delayed. Again, basic CSS animation. And rest of it is just JavaScript code, which is just clicking and checking which one is active and adding the CSS class dynamically. So you could see I'm adding this DM active, active and DM active dynamically on clicking. So when I click here, it adds this DM active and DM active to this one. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Get the template. You could get all three for $10 or just get this one for $5. Like and subscribe, and yeah, thank you. Goodbye.